Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. We saw tonight on the undercard of Lee Wood and Michael Condon, we saw a very good women's fight between Sandy Ryan and ERICA Farias of Argentina. Now, Sandy Ryan, matchroom fighter, has been groomed for big things. She came in with a 3-0 record. Only one of those opponents, the first one I think, had a winning record. The other two had losing records. And she came in against Farias, who had a record of 26 wins and 5 defeats. None of those 5 defeats were inside the distance, and she had 10 KOs out of 27 wins, which is quite a high percentage for women's boxing because they only fight the 2-minute rounds and they only fight 10 rounds championship. So what was the reasoning behind putting a ranked novice, or who you would think was a novice, although I know Ryan had a very good amateur career. As a professional, she's a novice, she's 3-0. What's the reasoning behind putting her in with Farias, who is, by all accounts, an established female world-class fighter? Well, Sandy's 28, ERICA is 37, and ERICA had lost her last 3 fights, all on points. But they were two in 2021. She lost to Michaela Mayer. She lost a unanimous decision, quite wide. Prior to that, in 2019, she lost to Jessica McCaskill, a majority decision over 10 rounds. And the year before that, I think it was 2018, she lost a unanimous decision to McCaskill. So she's been mixing in extremely good company. But 3 consecutive defeats. She's 37, so she's not getting any younger. So maybe Ryan's trainer, Clifton Mitchell, and the team thought, yeah, it's a calculated gamble, but, you know, even if Sandy loses, she'll have learned something. And she did lose. And you know what? She will have learned a ton, because this was a 10-round split decision loss for Sandy to ERICA Farias. She'll have learned. It was like going to school. It's like going to college, to be honest. That 20 minutes of boxing, she will be a much better fighter for it. And if ever there's a perfect example of putting a young fighter in, all right, you're trying to fast track them, you put them in with a veteran who's got a lot left. You take that gamble, and if they lose, you still come up smelling the roses because your fighter will have learned something. There's an example of that. It's this. Okay, this is what I like to see. I don't give a toss about your 0, you know, or your O, as people call it. I don't know why the fuck they call it an O. O is a letter. It's a 0, right? 0 is a fucking number, all right? Anyway, annoyances aside, I'm being pedantic, unapologetically so. Farias was quite amusing, actually, before the fight, because she was beckoning Sandy to the ring. Come on, let's get on with it. It's almost as if her attitude was, what, you want to put me in with this kid? This 3-0 fighter? You know, me, 26 wins, 5 defeats, former world champ. I think she's a world champ at 2 weights. I've fought McCaskill twice. I've fought, you know, Cecilia Brackus. I've fought Michaela Mayer. You want to put this kid in with me? You serious about this, are you? Okay, bring her in here. Get her in here. Let's do the business. But my God, she had to work for the win, because Sandy Ryan showed an awful lot of really good stuff in that fight. Nothing wrong with either of these ladies in the old ticker department. The heart was there, no question about it. Both stocky, powerful-looking girls. Neither of them boxed on the back foot. They were constantly throwing hurtful punches. Every punch seemed to have a bit of meat on it. Like a couple of bulls banging together. And I just got the feeling in the first half of the fight, certainly, ERICA Farias was having the final word. She was just a bit too busy, and whenever Sandy would land some good punches, ERICA would come right back and land just one more. But in the middle rounds, I thought Sandy came back into it. A lot of these rounds were close. You know, I made this fight 90, let me get this right now, 95-94 was my card. ERICA won a split decision. I think the scores were 97-94, 95-94. 95-94 was what I scored. And there was one that was 97-93 for Sandy, which I didn't agree with, although a lot of these rounds were close. 97, 93, no. ERICA also had a point taken off in the last round. I've no idea what for. Pushing, I think, but it was very harsh to take a point off her. Thankfully, it didn't affect the results. And guess what? The lady who comes all the way from Argentina against the hot prospect gets the right decision, or, you know, it was a close. I thought Farias won, but you could argue it was a close fight. A draw, maybe. You know, at the end of a fight, you always think, who would I rather be? Well, I would rather have been Farias than Ryan. I just thought she did a little bit more. So a good win for Farias to keep her career alive. Like I say, she's 37. She's knocking on a bit. But Sandy Ryan, this was, all her school days came at once today. This was a brilliant bit of matchmaking, I think. And we've seen in the recent past a lot of, you know, female fighters thrown in at the deep end and they haven't been able to swim because they haven't been taught properly. But I suppose with Sandy, you know, the amateur career gave her an inside track. She would have earned a lot from this grueling, tough fight. At the end of it, Sandy, you know, her nose was bloody. I think she had a busted lip and everything. And ERICA knew she'd been in a fight, and she knew that she had to work hard for this win from this novice. So I'm sure both these ladies respect each other. When it was announced that ERICA had won, she was delighted, elated, rightly so. You know, to come all this way and win a decision over a prospect is a terrific achievement. And that, you know, Sandy Ryan needn't be down. She can come again. You know, she'll have learned a lot from this. Anyway, oh, one other thing: the future Mrs. Joe Stunner was on DAZN's commentary team, otherwise known as Sky Nicholson. What can I say? She likes older fellas. Can I do anything about it? No, of course not. You know what I mean? Poor girl's only human. But yeah, she's another one who's being fast-tracked. She's like 1-0 at the moment, won last week, didn't she? But yeah, looking lovelier than ever. And don't ruin those looks, Sky. Otherwise, it's over between us, my love. Anyway, do you see this fight? Farias winning against Ryan. Did you see it? Did you like it? What do you think? Another good fight to add to the women's boxing canon. Women's boxing, of course, growing all the time. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, good fight. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button for me, please, if you don't mind. Don't cost you anything. Just pop the subscribe button. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. Even if you disliked it, whether you liked it or disliked it, you know what? I appreciate your time. Thanks very much. Catch you again later. Be good. Take care. Bye-bye for now.